All right, man. So, how was Texas?
Yeah, Texas, man. Um, I went about what was it? I went to Florida, and then like 2 weeks later, I went to Texas. So I got like two
You
vacations.
had a wild, like, what, 1, 2 months? Like the
Yeah,
last, like, 1 month and a half?
yeah.
Did you fly to Texas?
I yeah, we flown,
Flew.
Float.
flew.
You
Grammar
floated.
just flew for me. Yeah, we flew there on Spirit of all airlines.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well,
Spirit Airlines.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
the
is
best
that?
airline, right?
Is
in
that
America.
bad? Is that
It
bad?
actually wasn't as bad as I thought going there because there was like nobody on there.
Oh, yeah, because it's January. You
Yeah.
went, like middle end January.
It's not like
so
the that busy season. I guess it's
all
after
done.
holidays, right?
Yeah, everyone spent all their money.
Yeah.
Everyone's broke.
So there was like a lot of people there. So we had extra seats. We can just like sit wherever we wanted to.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
On the way back though, it was a little busy.
Mm.
Anyways, Texas. Texas was cool, man. I think my expectations were really low
Okay.
because like after Florida, it's like, what's in Texas? What's so good about Texas, anyways, right?
the
Everything.
food, maybe?
Yeah, the food.
The food. That's the only reason why I went. The food and to see my uncle. I really wanted barbecue.
How old's your uncle?
My uncle's like, I think, turning 40 or around 40-ish.
The
Yeah.
mom.
What is it for? The trip?
So the excuse was for a wedding.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
The
some
excuse. What do you mean?
distant persons.
What do you mean?
The
I think it
uncle
was, like,
that's
my-
40?
Huh?
The uncle that's 40? Is
Oh
that-
no. He lives there,
Oh, okay.
so we
Okay.
wanted to see him too. I wanted to see him and have the food, but then that also was there. So we went. He picked us up. He lives in Houston, so we landed in Houston and we
Mhm.
saw like the downtown area as we were driving by to his house. Had a Whataburger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking like, oh, In-N-Out, but like Whataburger is like specific to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
It's good.
it's good, bro. It's good. Like this is like, all right. So, I guess I don't know. I guess Five Guys would be like, how big are Five Guys burgers?
They're actually not that big, to be honest. Like,
Dude, this burger was big, man. This was hearty burger. It was like a little flat, but it was big.
it's like that.
It was like
that.
big. It was a little small, but it was thick, man.
It looks like I'm getting really specific. That looks like the width of a Whopper, with like
I would
the
say
height
so.
of like a
But
Five Guys.
it's not
burger.
like that high though. It was a little low, but it was like the
Okay.
bun was like, it was a hearty burger, man. I think I had like the sweet barbecue burger. Had some fries. Fries were like okay, but it was really good. I also had some Mexican food. I had some barbecue food there. Barbecue. I didn't have like. I had this place called Papa's Barbecue.
Okay.
It's like a chain.
Oh,
but,
okay.
It was still good. It was still good.
Still good.
Yeah. The Mexican food obviously is gonna be amazing there.
Mhm.
I really wanted to have this Mexican food, so I had this chicken with mole.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh man. But I was like full from the whole day from eating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so by the time it was dinner time, I was like
I'm
stuffed.
tapped out. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of bummed out. I mean, I didn't really finish it, but it was so good though.
Okay.
But yeah, Texas, man, it was
So-
a good time.
So the food, some distant cousin wedding or something.
Distant cousin wedding, which is okay.
How was the wedding?
The wedding.
I saw, you and your sister, you and your sister, you and Anisha took
We took
pictures,
a couple
right?
snaps, yeah, in
Took it-
Is it a
between.
traditional long wedding?
I think they were trying to cut it short, because usually like the ceremony itself can usually go on for a while,
Mhm.
but I think they try to cut it short. Like the way it's set up is like they have like everybody, they have a certain time when they're supposed to go on, like the preacher or the pastor, and then like they say a couple of words, whatever.
Mm.
But then I guess some people can be egotistical and go longer than what they're supposed to, and that kind of screws up the timing.
Yeah.
So I think the wedding, we were supposed to be there at 10. It was supposed to be from 10 to 12. It finished like 12:15, 12:20, and a cocktail hour is supposed to be 12 to 1. So
Oh man.
they literally told us, hey, cocktail hours from 12 to 1. It's like 12:20, so get there while you can.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That
So-
one couldn't be extended.
What? Yeah, I think it was probably like 15 minutes or so, but yeah.
What was it like? What kind of venue that like? Oh, you can't go past one. I don't know. I
I don't know. I think it was at a Hilton. I think it was a
Okay.
hotel,
They probably
yeah.
had like another event or something.
Yeah,
that they-
maybe.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
wedding
think-
was aight.
I think it was alright. I think I
Alright.
definitely like spending time with my family, my uncles, because like he has like 3 kids,
Mhm.
and they were like kids when they were here. They grew up a little bit though, so like, I get to like when you're like kids, when you're like really tiny, you know, you don't really get to know them.
Mhm.
Like they don't really have personalities yet. They're just babies, but
You want to play video games? Like
yeah, like but now like you know they actually have personalities. I got to know more about them. One's like kind of awkward and funny, and one's like really sarcastic and funny. You know,
Oh, okay.
It's fun to get to know that. You know, I got to spend time with them. So yeah, it was a good time. It was really
You're gone 4 days,
wholesome. Yeah, like 4 or 5 days.
right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but that was Texas, man. It was.
Are you planning to go back?
I definitely will go back. Definitely, maybe next year. This is a place
wedding?
called Killen's. It's supposed to be really good barbecue, but my uncle said the wait's like really long for it. But it's like really good barbecue, so I want to go back. Try that next time I go out there.
Just get there like 2 hours early. And just,
Honestly? Honestly,
like, just get
I'm
there
gonna
2
do it.
hours early, pull out a movie or something on
Uh-huh.
your phone.
Oh, we
Just
watched
chill
Bad
out.
Boys too while we were out
Oh
there.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You know what he does. So he sent me his schedule. We have to coordinate our schedules for when we record this because we both work and everything. So he sent me his schedule. And on his schedule, you have like your personal things that you do. So it's
Mhm.
like hanging out with so and so, blah blah blah. He puts that in his calendar, and I see on his calendar for like Sunday night, and it says Bad Boys to do, and I'm like Bad Boys, like whatever, and I just cracking up. I was just laughing so much. I'm like, when he sent it to me, I was just oh man, I was rolling. I was just looking at it. I texted you back, and I was like, yo, Bad Boys.
I have to pencil that in, man.
Yeah, like,
very
let me pencil
important.
Bad Boys into my calendar. But no, I thought that was hilarious. It's really good because I should probably do that because there's just I'm all over the place. But no,
Well,
I thought that was
where
funny.
Have you been anywhere lately? Like,
So I went to Danny and I went to Boston in August.
oh,
I was on like first full week of August or something. So I had I was for my job. I was helping out some of the Bostonians, the Boston team out there, with doing some work, some site visits for customers. So I was just like, all right, it was a grand opportunity for Danny and I to like go on a trip. That'd be fun. It's like the first of hopefully many. And so I brought her with me, and it was it was funny because it's like, oh, well, you're going for work, and then so while I'm gone, like during the day, like half the day or whatever for the site visit, I always felt bad every morning because I'm like, oh, Danny's still sleeping, like man, I feel bad. I would like all these visits were fairly easy,
Mhm.
and so I got through them relatively quick. And so I got back, and I'm back, and it's like just afternoon, and I'm like, all right, well, do some extra work or whatever. But then it'd be like, wow, we still have a lot of time. So
That's
we
awesome.
were at a hotel 20 minutes out from Boston, and we were like, all right, well then we'll just.
how was the hotel?
Hotel was great. The
Oh my
hotel.
gosh! Like
Yeah, it was
it
phenomenal.
was one of the main highlights, even though it's just a hotel, because they had Matadora, which is a restaurant downstairs,
Wow.
and it was like really luxurious.
What was the name of the hotel?
Huh?
What was the name of the hotel?
Oh man, something of Woburn or.
Oh, it wasn't like those typical Hilton.
Well, it's like part of like the Hilton Marriott stuff
Sheraton.
Yeah.
because
whatever.
like
yeah.
I guess the way the company has like deals with certain brands or whatever, and so you get discounted rates for your employees. So it was part of that, but I don't think it was like a Hilton specifically. It was something else. But yeah, the hotel was phenomenal.
Great.
They had a pool, we never used it. We kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna use it," and we never did.
Ah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was
It
something.
was during the summer too, but I don't know. We were just out often, or it was that whole trip was just a surge of food and coffee shops. Obviously, that's our priority.
Yeah, no, it was a
So we would literally go to 3 coffee shops a day,
Wow.
and we wouldn't even realize we had 3 cups of coffee already. It
yeah.
was just a lot of exploring.
It really kept us going, all that caffeine. But
Was that like you emptively planned ahead that like you're gonna go to coffee shops every day, or was
That-
this just like this is something you always do? So
so, I guess it was
like, what did you have planned for going out there?
We knew we had plans in the back of our heads. We're like, well, we're definitely gonna go to places in Boston. Like we're going to go in Boston, and you know, there was also a couple times where it's just like, oh well, there's stuff outside of Boston that I can drive to. So we drove up. But I told I told Danny, like, as we're driving up, I'm like, we are never driving into Boston. Like, I refuse to drive into a major city. Like, I'm not doing it. I don't care if the parking's cheaper than the city than New York. I don't care.
City driving's
Like,
insane.
yeah, like I could have done it. It was funny because that week it wasn't bad. Like, it really, the traffic and everything, like us walking around Boston and everything, it really wasn't bad. So I could have definitely done it. But we just Ubered into Boston anytime we went. We took an Uber back.
So you like pre-planned.
Yeah, we pre-planned like the traveling. Like what are we gonna do? We're gonna drive local. We're gonna like Uber here.
How long does it take for you to plan out? Did it take for you to plan out this?
I don't know.
Wait, we had a list of things.
Okay,
to
so you
go
made a
to.
list.
Yeah, and then we just divided it into days.
So you're more on the side of like planning things out as opposed to like spontaneity, like whatever. Like you just go there and then find stuff to do.
I like to have backup, but I mean I'm open. I let spontaneity where it rises. So
it's a little bit of both.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's good to have both.
She's
when you're going on trips.
Yeah, she's definitely the more of like the list itinerary. It's like, what's the plan? And then when she asks me what's the plan and I don't have a plan, it's a problem. Like it's like, oh, I don't know, we'll figure it out.
There's
It's just
definitely
like,
two camps.
yeah. So
when it comes to that.
but no, it was a lot of fun. We just like we definitely lost track of all the places we went to. I mean, I'm sure if I go back into like Yelp and like
Boston is known for waffles too. So everywhere we went, there were a lot of good dessert waffles.
So what was the best coffee shop and what was the best waffle place?
Oh man.
Curio, Curio.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was small, but
it wasn't even in Boston. We drove
Was
there.
Coffee shop?
No, we didn't drive there. We Ubered there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's a coffee shop?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually, it wasn't even in Boston. It was like, I think 10 minutes from the hotel that we were at. So it was just midway between the two.
How'd you find it? Through Yelp or you just...
Yeah, we always research. I always research places.
She got me into Yelp. And like,
I like Yelp too, but I found like, I don't know, maybe sometimes you get paid.
Oh yeah,
If
like the
you're
paid
an
review.
elite, I think.
Yeah, there's
I
like...
don't know.
Like
no,
business can pay for their ratings. I feel like
you're on the money there. Yeah, so it's like this weird, I guess, like scandal type thing where it's just like, oh, those are fake reviews.
Just like Amazon, you can like products, right?
And it's just like, oh, this is people were like, when you go to recent reviews or the highest rated review, everyone's like, this is perfect. This like GX 370 blah 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 is the most efficient thing I've ever used, and it's like that is a fake review. Like, but there's actually a lot of that going on in Yelp.
On the other end of it, like I use Yelp all the time.
Yeah,
so, like it's a good way to find new places. But if you're trying to find something local and something nobody knows about, I feel like I don't know. Maybe Yelp's not the way to go, or maybe sometimes like sometimes.
I guess it depends on the area because like we've been using it. I mean, here where we are, we use it a lot. But as far as like when we were in Boston, we used it for everything, and we didn't really. Maybe there was like one or two places, of course, like the seafood places that we went to that weren't great, and as a result of Yelp.
Oh my gosh! And they always make it look like
you
it's
went on Yelp
thing.
and you won, and it was bad, even though Yelp said it was good.
What are you talking about? I never said it was bad.
Oh, he was good.
Yelp is useful.
No. He's talking about the seafood place. Yeah, they were bad. No,
I thought you meant like using Yelp was bad.
No, I'm saying you use Yelp to find that seafood place.
Yeah, we used it to find like food places,
and it looked nice.
Yeah, it had good reviews and everything. But as like, what were you saying before?
I forgot the place, but it was in the city, and they always make it look like the lobster rolls were big. And there was one order where it's 3 rolls of different flavors or seasonings, and it was so tiny, like smaller than this phone. And I thought it was good. We thought it was good for we thought it was good for 2 people because it's 3 rolls.
Yeah.
And we got there, I got so disappointed. And every time I'm disappointed about a restaurant or a food place, I say it out loud. because
Yeah.
You actually tell the waiter? Or...
I don't tell the waiter, but I'm just like,
Oh,
I would verbally express like.
My mom's the
It
same
was
way.
like $18 for that little appetizer thing.
But it also is like lobster, right? Isn't it expensive?
yeah.
Lobster.
Well, it was.
Was it
Yeah,
good?
but
Did it taste good at
It
least?
was okay. It was
No.
alright. I think it was a salty one too.
Yeah, it was funny. Each of the mini lobster rolls that was on this thing was like salty, like weird, and then it was like like that's how each one was. It was like this.
According to your rating.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like when we there was one of them. I know we're talking about this a lot, but Danny was just like, she ate one and she was like, it tastes like dust. It tastes like cockroaches.
It
The lobster roll?
Yeah,
Tasted like
she
cockroaches.
said like tastes like cockroaches. I'm like, what the?
Oh, you're like, what? You've tasted cockroaches? No, I've not. Haven't tasted cockroaches. I've just when I grew up in the Philippines. When I grew up in the Philippines, it's just like a very buggy place, I guess. Like any bug would enter that place. I don't know,
So you
but
it's like-
there was just bugs everywhere.
It
I don't
tastes.
know how I grew up like that because I can't tolerate it here. I should have a high tolerance, but yeah, and I think it was because my grandma would always kill them for me, but they have a certain smell. It kind of tastes like a certain herb, actually.
Cockroaches
Not
have a
taste,
certain
it
smell.
smells like
It smells like an herb. Yeah.
an herb. What is it? Arugula? I don't know. I forgot.
arugula.
No, that's like a spinach type thing.
Okay.
I don't. It's in my cupboard downstairs in the kitchen. We
A cockroach?
No. I got a jar full of them, man. Just ready to spice things up. No, but all that being said, Boston with all the coffee shops and all the food places, like it's a major city, so you can't really go wrong when it comes to like finding stuff to do. So it was a lot of fun that Boston trip.
A lot of the other, obviously there were a ton of seafood places, but most of them were expensive. So we tried this one, but it was a failure. So might as well have just gotten to the expensive.
We really should have, because we ended up spending probably almost as much money as we would have if we just went to got the quote unquote
The quality
cheaper options at the higher end places.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been shelling out a few more dollars would have been way more worth it because the quantity and the quality would have just been over the roof. But whatever, you live and you learn.
settle.
Yeah, don't do that. Especially traveling. I think that was one of the biggest lessons that we learned from it. It was just if we're gonna invest the time and the money, to plan this stuff out and go places, even if they're spontaneous, it's just don't settle for it. If it's $100 per plate, that's dumb.
Yeah.
but if it's well, one, we never do this. Two, this is our first trip ever. And three, we budgeted quite a bit of money to have a good time and do a bunch of stuff. So it's just we should have, because by the end of it we actually came out a lot pretty under budget from what I expected. So I'm just kind of man,
Under budget? You had to spend more than what you thought you would? You had to spend more?
No, we spent a lot less than what I thought we would.
That's good.
And then I'm should have gotten good seafood that one night. The one night we were gonna let's get seafood, and we bomb it. So,
Wow.
But the other nights, for dinner, we went to that hotel restaurant. It was awesome. So
I definitely do think as far as traveling goes, food's definitely a big part of it.
yeah, no, it's because it's just you associate
For
that.
me, anyways, I feel like.
Oh, I mean, especially going to Texas.
Yeah.
You associate the food with where you are, that location, because you're man, Texas. When I went there, usually the first thing people always say is just if you didn't go to if it's not an attraction, it's always the food, and then it's just and then it's the drink.
The food is also an attraction.
Yeah. So
that's a good way of looking at it.
So I don't know. It was a lot of fun for the Boston trip, but yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for
I
us.
still miss Matadora.
Yeah,
It was just so good.
What kind of food was that?
It was Spanish. It was a Spaniard kind of fusion-y place.
All right.
They had the best calamari too. I don't know if that's specifically Spaniard.
That
but
was their
that
fusion thing.
so
Yeah,
good.
it
It
was.
was great. I mean, there were a lot. It was mainly for business people, so everyone was an executive there. So it had to be high quality.
Yeah, no, it was a really good time. But I don't know. As far as when you were in Texas, I'm assuming who was like ringleading when it came to like itinerary and where to go, what to do? How did that work out?
So that's one thing I always like. I'm trying to figure out, because I want to go on a trip with my cousins after Florida. We want to plan on going on a trip together.
Oh, wait,
but it's like, how do we go about doing that?
You gotta talk about Florida.
Yeah, but
You gotta tell us about Florida.
so Florida was interesting because we had the parents planned out most of it.
Okay.
But like the planning was like 1 month before, and we hardly meet up because like all our families. It's like you're talking about like what 13, 14, 15 people maybe.
Okay.
And everybody's doing their own thing.
That's still crazy.
So to like do it like a month before and have everybody get off, it's kind of tough. Somehow we managed it, but it's still like I don't know. It was weird. We planned on going to Key West. We booked a hotel like last minute.
Oh yeah.
It was like. It was a good deal. We went out there and the hotel was like there was like people smoking on the side. There was like random stains in the bathrooms.
Wait, Key West where?
Is that where?
It was Key West, Florida.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
Well,
we don't know.
it was
much
like
about Florida.
sorry. So there's Florida, like the main like what is it called, peninsula or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, then there's more islands that go outward,
Okay.
and Key West is like the farthest island. It's like 90 miles away from Cuba.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And to get there, you have to travel on a bridge. And the bridge is like literally over like, I think the Gulf of Mexico, I guess.
Oh okay.
Yeah. So there's like nothing. It's just straight up water. Like when you're driving down there, there's just water all around you. Because you're going from island to island to get to Key West.
That's really.
Yeah. So, yeah, like we it takes like 7 hours to get there from Orlando. We take the hotel in between. It's garbage hotel because we planned out terribly, and then we get up, we drive there. Only get to spend 2 hours there because we woke up late.
How late?
I guess like normal time, I guess, but it took like another 3 hours. We only spent 2 hours, and then we had to drive back to Orlando because we only had so much time there.
Oh my gosh.
So we spent 2 hours,
you had
7
2
hours. Straight back. We got back at like 3 a.m. back to Orlando. So like the whole trip was just us traveling. It was garbage.
Sucks.
Even traveling alone is exhausting.
Yeah. So that was 2 days worth of time.
And that was the whole crew, right? Like the 15 people in the van.
Yeah.
I still can't believe how you guys managed to travel. Like 15 people in this utility van.
Yeah. It was I think it's called speeder.
Oh, it's like this. I don't know what they call it. Yeah,
It's cool. It was a good time, but it's like planning is definitely a big thing. It's definitely important.
I remember when you came back and you were telling me a little bit about it, and you were like just getting so amped up about how like I wanted to be there. Like I wanted to be in Key West. Like I wanted to.
It was
spend
so
more
much.
time in Key
I didn't
West.
know like key limes were from Key West. I feel like key lime pie. I should have had key lime pie if I'm in Key West, but I didn't have key lime pie. Like I only had 2 hours, so. So with Texas, what happened? Who was the main coordinator, planner thing? My parents had a little bit, but my uncle, like he's from there. He showed us around there.
Yeah.
So he's a guy who planned out where we should go, when we should see. We also went to Joel Osteen's church. I don't know if you know Joel Osteen. He has this huge mega church.
Big like ministry guy. Yeah.
But he was like, yeah. So when we get there, the service starts at 8:30. We wake up at 7. We go get there at 8. So that way we have time and we can go up to the front. We can get good seats and whatever. But it's like that. It's a whole like planning. Planning is such a huge thing. And now I'm trying to plan out for this like possible trip with my cousins.
Okay.
It's like who gets the ball rolling? How do you set up a budget? Like all this stuff. I'm curious like with your Boston trip. Like how'd you make the list? What was the budget?
All right. Yeah.
And I guess for all the listeners out there, how do you go about? How do you
that's a really good question. All right, so
I do all the places.
she does all the
So what do you just Google it? Like just
Google, Yelp, the big two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what she does.
Oh, so you Google like the coffee shops and everything beforehand when you were in New Jersey?
Yeah.
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 Oh wow.
So she knew already. She already saved and bookmarked places. She was like, and then she does because the whole like Yelp thing and like don't just rely on one site for reviews and etc. So like we bounce back to Google a little bit more homegrown to kind of compare. And it's just like if there's a stark difference, like probably not a good idea. But if they're relatively whatever.
How many months in advance did you plan?
A couple weeks.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
actually.
it wasn't because like the whole work trip, like getting all those sites scheduled. Like I didn't get them scheduled until like exactly 2 weeks before I had to get there.
Wow.
And so when I finally finalized everything,
Mhm.
because I had them scheduled and I had to like follow up and be like, "Are you guys certain?" Because I gotta friggin' book a hotel and I gotta drive there. It's gonna be And then so I had to reach out to these people and it was set. So it was like a week and a half for Danny when I told her, yes, we are set 100%. We're going. And then it's just like, oh, okay. So she had a week and a half, and we delegated. So we're just like, okay, Danny, you're going to get all the places and all that stuff, like the coffee shops and the food places. So she was in charge of that. As far as like when it comes to the budgeting, like for the expenses and the stay and everything, I guess the first thing is just like number one, how long do you want to be there? And when you're anticipating how long you're gonna stay, don't include the travel days. So like,
Oh yeah,
so
it's
like,
true.
so like, if you say, "Oh, we're gonna be there 5 days. We have so much time." No, you're gonna be there 3 days and 2 days traveling.
Literally
That's
Key
what
West, like 1 day worth of traveling.
like that's what it is, and that's the biggest thing. It's just like when I've gone on like smaller, like little vacation-y trips with Danny's family to like in PA. There's an Eagle Rock Resort. We also went to Maine a few years back. It was just like I asked Danny, it's like, how long are we gonna be there? And it's just like, oh, it's gonna be like 3 days, 4 days. I'm like, okay, so 2 days traveling, 2 days there, like
yeah.
48 hours on site,
That's
and the other 2 days is like maybe half a day
Yeah.
actually there, but you're packing up and traveling.
yeah, that's a good point.
So that was number one. I was just like, well, we're gonna have X amount of days to X amount of full days to do stuff, and those other 2 days we gotta travel and pack and all that crap. So that was number one. How many days were actually going to be available to do stuff? Number two was then it was just like, all right, when you're looking for the hotel and everything, it's just like, all right, reasonably, depending on your group, is it more reasonable to get like larger hotel rooms and split the fare per night, or just get a ridiculous like Airbnb, which ultimately is cheaper. So it was a work trip and I was able to bring Danny with me, so it was just like I had to do a hotel. So otherwise I would have done an Airbnb because it would have been cheaper. If I had to do it alone, without that employee discount stuff. So that was that. So that's number two. It's just like the pros and cons between weighing out the prices for like an Airbnb and your hotel. And number three, if you're going to like a major city, don't ever stay there. like for your housing,
hotels
like
a lot
for your
more
stay,
expensive,
don't do that. Like a hotel, Airbnb, like be 20 to 30 minutes out, because it'll honestly probably be cheaper if you just like do an Uber or like a train or whatever and you split that fare amongst your group of like
in the
companions.
US, I feel like that's great.
Yeah.
But if I'm in like the Bahamas,
Yeah,
or,
that's
like
no.
India
You're
or
gonna be
something,
on a resort. Like
I feel like it'd be a little weird because
Yeah,
random like
no, you're not gonna
desert.
No, I mean like
But is
here.
the Bahamas resort a city? No, you're in an island.
Yeah,
That's
like
an
you're
island.
in
But
an
I guess
island.
like outside of like
No.
the normal.
No,
Yeah.
I mean
Tourist
I mean
area.
exclusively like if you're traveling in U.S. like,
Okay.
in the U.S. like major city stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, just stay outside of that like really expensive zone. And then as far as budgeting the money, it's just like make sure everyone has agreed to go and make sure everyone's actually going. Because
That's
you
like
can,
the biggest thing, like it's making them save money towards said trip,
But-
and how much to save, right?
But it's not even like, oh, how much to save. You got to make sure everyone's on board, because it's just like not even everyone can say yeah, but if no one takes that
Initiative.
week off or takes those days off,
Yeah.
it's not a yeah. Because
Yeah.
next thing you know, they go to their boss and they're like, "Can I get this day off and this week off?" And it's just like, "No, if you take it off, you're fired." Like so it's just kind of like, no, you need to make sure everyone's on board, and then you can start splitting up when it comes to budget. Then you can start splitting up like, all right, we have definitely 6 people. We're gonna stay X amount of nights. It's gonna be this much per night per person. So everyone knows that, and then all right. Now, meals and stuff like that, you kind of just take into account where are you going to go? What do you plan on doing? And then again, that's per person. So assume, X amount of money for meals every day per person, blah, blah, blah.
So you like
But-
budget like $20.
I don't know, like
I mean,
if it's $20, $20 to $25 per meal per
Mm.
person. So 3 meals a day. So you're looking at plus extra like tip $100 a day per person
Mm.
for like 3-4 days. So per person, a trip could be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Assuming that you're having doing all this
Mm.
stuff all the time.
You can always
When you get there, you're most likely not, because you're gonna eat breakfast and you're gonna be like, oh I don't want lunch.
I don't want too much.
Is that just food alone too? Like, what if you want to do activities?
Yeah, so the
activities, too.
activities are totally separate though, because the activities, like when it comes to food, you can at least kind of budget everyone and be like, hey guys, we're gonna look to spend $20 per meal.
Mm.
When it comes to activities, though, same thing with Airbnb. You gotta make sure everyone's on board.
Mm.
If you go in a group of 6 and only 4 people want to go to the amusement park, but the other 2 want to go to the museum, all right. But you're not gonna pay for 6 tickets to the amusement park, and then you're gonna be out 2 tickets and you spend all that money.
Yeah.
Like I know it's common sense, but it's just kind of like, well, it's stuff that's so easily forgotten. Because next thing you know, it's just like, wow, all right, well, we can't get a group pass discount because so doesn't want to go, and it's just kind of like, you gotta make sure everyone's just like on the same page, or if they have other plans they want to kind of split, you gotta make sure like, all right, when are you going to split and when are you going to regroup, because we need to know as far as budgeting is concerned. So I don't know, my advice to you would be all that. Like the best thing to do, and I know Danny would seal of approval, make an Excel sheet, make a spreadsheet and share it with everyone, and then just be like, this is the budgeting, blah, blah, blah. If you have other adjustments or whatever, put them on the side and I'll try and include them. But I think you're pretty good at leading like this kind of stuff or whatever, like this kind of like group dynamic. So I feel like you're gonna end up being the leader.
I might possibly.
Because you seem, I don't know, you seem really enthusiastic and motivated.
It's just a matter. Yeah, it's definitely gotta be someone has to initiate it, because you can just have all these plans, but it could just be words,
Why don't you initiate?
I might just initiate. I literally just asked them how to do this. I think another big important thing is who you're going with too.
Oh man,
because like 2 weeks is not a lot of time to plan for a trip, but you had a good time, you planned out everything. It's because it's just you two of you know each other.
Because I had an excellent
We had like a
crime.
month time, but it's like adults.
Yeah,
and they don't meet up a lot, and
I'm
the communication's shoddy.
Wait, the trip you want to redo is with adults, or
No, this is I'm talking about Florida. It was adults. The adults planning, our parents. But the Florida trip, this is the one I want to go with my cousins. It's gonna be more us kids. Well, everybody under 30.
the younger people.
Yeah. But we don't really hang out that much, so it's gonna be interesting trying to see how we communicate and stuff like that, the group dynamic and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because I think it's easier and more fun if you're going with like a couple group of friends that you know. Like me and you on a trip, even if we don't do Jack, I will have a good time. Like you can just sit in the car the whole time, and that'd be a good time.
I love like the process of a road trip, just having a long body pillow and blankets and like get a snack. I love it.
Sometimes you don't even need to do much. Like you can just be spontaneous and have a good time. But then sometimes you'll be out with like people that aren't exciting, and you be doing the most exciting things,
and it just sucks.
Yeah. So it's
it's just a Debbie Downer.
Yeah. So
when we went, I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
When we went bowling with a large group of friends, like a long time ago, and the chick. It was a large group of friends. We were all close. It was like after I graduated from college, to like summer 2018. And we went like this bowling place. It wasn't trip or anything. It was just bowling. And there was like one person who was just like the biggest, just completely cut off from the group, Debbie Downer, and it's just like
they isolated themselves
on purpose.
Though.
And it just screwed it up, because then it took our really close friend Al, and then everyone,
because they were in a relationship.
Yeah,
so
it was a mess.
She was like dragging him away, and they left early too.
Yeah, it was.
And then we were taking a group picture, and we invited both of them repeatedly, and it was super awkward because everyone's like, "Hey, taking a photo," and this person's just on the side on purpose, like They really didn't want to do it.
This chick
Okay.
literally said, like, I don't want to be in it.
No.
She literally said that, and it's just like, yo, we invited you out, like, and like we want to get to know you. We brought you out, like everything was set as the group. Like, we want you to be part of the group. We want you to do this, but like to your point, it just brought up this memory. It's just like, if you don't have a group of people who's like
mutually
down,
enthusiastic.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough because then you think about it in the back of your head, you're like, this sucks. I'm spending all this money. We're wasting all this time. Blah,
And you
blah.
kind of feel responsible to entertain them too. Which I
it's not
always
fair.
have that feeling.
Yeah, it's not
always
fair.
Have it.
But yeah. But
I had like, I was going on a trip to Delaware last year to see my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was just us cousins.
How was that?
I actually planned that out. We budgeted and everything.
Yeah.
Did
it work?
Like a week before.
Oh no.
Like 2 of my cousins almost bailed out.
Oh man.
I was like,
wait,
almost.
Okay.
You were fuming?
I was
Absolutely
fuming. I was like, yo, this is why. Like, we planned this out like at least 2-3 months before. It's only a weekend. And they're like, no, I don't feel like coming. I don't want to go. Or like, it was like more like, yeah, they didn't see the point. And I was like,
that's crazy.
Like, how often do we get to do this, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, eventually they did come out, but it's like, you know.
It's not the same once you mentioned it.
I guess.
Once they like opined, like they said they're.
I don't know. It sucks when you plan out everything and then it's like they just back out.
They start flaking out. Yeah, that's.
So it's definitely, you gotta like screen them before you actually invite
sign
them.
a contract.
No,
yeah.
Seriously, like
by blood. You're gonna have to come regardless. Your soul will be taken from your body if you do not come with us.
What was it? I was supposed to go. It was my friends from work. So when I started my job, it was like a group of us that like started the job. And we were in a training program together. It was like from all over the country. And one girl from Canada, and so like we all got like became like fast friends. You know, we have a group chat to this day and all that stuff. And so I guess some of us were planning on going. I forget exactly where. And then I was just like, I forget. I remember it was like maybe about a week or 2 out. I was just like, I can't go, but I felt so bad. And I was just like, I knew in the back of my head, I'm like, if I flake out, they already did everything because this group's nice. Like they have their stuff together. I'm like, if I bail out, I got to do something. Like I'm not gonna just So I told them, I was just like, I know you guys. They already got to their Airbnb and all that stuff, and they planned. And I was just like, look. So I told them, I was just like, I can't go X and Y reasons. I was just like, I know you guys planned and everything, so I'm going to still pay for my room fare. Like how you split it up between like the 6, I'm gonna still pay mine. So I Venmo'd the person who like put the room on their card. I Venmo'd like for like the 3 nights, and I didn't even go, and I still like paid for them, and I like paid for my thing, and I'm like, no, like I'm not gonna do that. Like bail out.
Well, at
like,
least you did that.
Yeah, and
it's still not the same.
It's not the same. I'm not trying to give myself like say an excuse. It sucks, and it sucks that I did it. I still feel bad about it to this day, but it's just like part of me was just like, well, I will compensate at least monetarily. Like I have to do that. Like I just felt it was the right thing to do.
It was a good thing you at least did that. Yeah.
But I don't know. As far as like all the traveling and everything and where you've been and everything, where do you want to go, I guess, like on your own? Like do you have this vision of like you going on a trip?
Solo?
Yeah, like kind of like the solo adventure or anything like that.
I've never even thought about going solo. Solo. Dude, I always wanted to go to Hawaii.
Really?
But I always thought of it going with like family though. Solo wise, man, I have to think about that for a second.
I guess this kind of bleeds into the question of like, you know, why should you travel, or like to like what benefit does it give you?
Yeah.
You know, in the long run in traveling, whether it's with a group, you know, we're talking about the group and how it's fun and everything, but like also solo.
That's a good question.
You know, or with just one other person that you're really close with, like why should you travel?
That's a good question. I definitely think it's very important to travel because it's good to have new experiences. It's a good way of growing. A lot of times we go into the same routine. we'd be doing the same thing every single day. And we can get burnt out, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of times we get stuck in our own sort of like bubble and we get comfortable and we see things a certain way. And it makes us narrow-minded, I think. The world is bigger than just this little circle.
I like that answer.
So traveling is a good way of meeting new people, gaining new experiences. And life's about that, you know? It's not just about just living, just work, eat, die, you know? We're here.
Gosh.
We're having memories, man. This is why we're here. Like, I'm not working just to pay off bills.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I want to live, man. I want to live. This is why we're making money. I don't know. So that's why, like, it's good to travel just to open up, broaden your
Horizon.
I was thinking horizon, but I guess sense of perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
Understand different points of view, especially if you're traveling internationally.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
how we live is totally different compared to like it really makes you appreciate what you have. I went to India. It's like cost of living so much cheaper there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason why it's cheap.
Exactly. It's a lot simpler, and it's like you really like right now. This is like luxury, man. This is like really really nice compared to people like. But yeah, that's why I think it's really important to travel. Not so much, but yeah, from time to time, it's good to travel.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I guess like based on like your trips, like your recent trips, and like I know you mentioned the trip to India, so, which I don't know we'll probably talk about like in the future because that was like a month or two, right? That you were gone. How long was that for? That was a while.
Both times. I went twice.
You went twice.
I went in
I didn't know that.
2006 and I went 2017.
2017. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
How long was the 2017 trip? That was a while, right?
That was like 3 weeks.
Okay.
I went to like Dubai for like a couple of days, and then we went to India for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, I wanna maybe like we'll come back. We'll definitely should come back to that in the future. But like, I don't know, especially your recent trips. What was your kind of takeaway ultimately from like those trips? And I know you learned the lesson of planning and budgeting and all that stuff. But like aside of that, like for you, what did that trip kind of elicit? Or what would you kind of take away from it? Like how did it affect you?
Which trip? Like just in general.
Like yeah, both the Florida and the Texas trips because they're both like family oriented and what have you, just different states. So like I would assume that you kind of had the same takeaways, but like what about you? Like for you, what were those kind of takeaways?
I think the biggest for me is definitely family aspect of it, because even though we're not doing much, the fact that we're together is the biggest thing. Even before going to Florida, I just knew, this trip's gonna be like messy because the planning's all over the place. But I think part of it's like putting your expectations low because like, you don't want to get upset about it. But but it's like as long as we sat together in the same room and we were able to talk. And I think we planned this out. We had a Secret Santa. I think I told you about this.
Yeah.
Not Secret Santa. It was supposed to be Secret Santa.
White elf?
White elephant.
Yeah. Oh, white elephant. Yeah.
But the fact is, we all did together. We all sat around. We bonded. We had a good time, and that made the trip worthwhile. Even if we didn't do anything else, it would have been worthwhile. Okay. So I think the biggest takeaway from that is like families. And the people you spend time with and the memories you make is what matters the most. You can go out to all the fanciest places, go all these cool attractions, but like we said, with the wrong people, it's just not going to be.
It's you really lose a lot of that perspective and kind of all that groundedness.
I think you should take it as a luxury that you're able to travel and be with your relatives, because I haven't been with my cousins in 10 plus years.
Wow.
And I grew up with them since, like, in the same roof since I was born, so
wow.
I really miss them.
Are you ever planning on going back to the Philippines?
I always ask my parents, and they annoyingly keep delaying it for financial reasons. But yeah, obviously I ask every year, and they always ask me to, and I feel bad. Like, I don't know when to tell you. I don't know when I'm coming back.
Hey, you can plan it out. Someone take initiative.
I told my parents to save monthly, but I don't even know if they're listening to me.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's just not fair.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, like, they were my childhood, they were my best friends, and I don't know, it's just always lonely here.
Wow. Yeah, definitely hearing that makes me feel a little more appreciative of it. Yeah, I'm thankful for it now. Yeah, man.
but yeah, no, it's I guess a little point about that. We were talking about that because that's been coming up for like the past few years or since we've been together. Um,
My
so
family is growing though, here because my oldest sister is coming here finally this year.
Oh, nice.
After the same thing after like 10 plus years, with her kids. So there's like 5 plus. No, yeah, there's 5 people coming into my house like so immediately.
That's awesome.
But I don't know if it's finalized yet, but it seems confident. So
yeah, so definitely looking forward to that. Like the people, the insurgents of extended family, because knowing you for so many years and all these years, you know, I always hear about your cousins and like you always, you know, you're always hanging out with them like so frequently, and then like in the time that you know I've been with Danny, it's just kind of like, oh man, like this is a thing. I'm like the third case. I was so young, and my cousins were like my siblings. They were so much older than I was that I didn't know them. Like I really didn't like know them. I was like, you know, like a real little kid, maybe. And I think the last memory I have of ever like visiting my cousins, like some of them were like local and everything. Last memory I have of visiting my cousins, like when I was a kid, and I would like I guess do stuff with them, was when I was like 8. Like, and since then, most of them, you know, they're all older, they've grown up, they moved, and I think there's some of them are still in Jersey on my dad's side. And so it's just kind of like, but I've never had that connection with any of my cousins. So it's just kind of like interesting to see that dynamic because I'm like, oh, I never had it. So I
You
don't
got
know.
us, man.
Yeah, so it's funny. So like I guess my end all is like.
Or you can always plan a trip with them.
so I would probably never. but I guess my end all with this is like as far as like the takeaway from the traveling with Danny, which is like, and I've kind of, you know, outside of my immediate family, you know, my siblings and my parents, like we've never done like a significant trip like that or anything. So it's just kind of like doing the stuff with Danny and kind of having my eyes open when it comes to that kind of traveling, like, you know, with, you know, others and people who are you're really close with, you've built like a nice like foundation or relationship with. For me, it's always been like, as far as the family is concerned, like, oh man, traveling with those, not just family, but also those like who you consider to be like new family is awesome. And so like it's like slowly but surely I've come to like understand that significance of like this is important. And as much as I like kind of doing stuff kind of exclusively like, you know, with much smaller groups, it's just like getting more attuned to doing things with larger groups, whether it's, you know, like hangouts and travels or whatever, planning stuff like that. It really does bring out a whole new just way of living, a way of thinking.
Yeah.
Something that's just, I don't want to say is completely new to me because like I understand from stories and everything, but something that's definitely been a really great experience for me. Like I owe Danny and her family so much for allowing inviting me to go do these things and doing all that. And then also, you know, to her parents for giving her permission to come with me to Boston. Like, that was the first trip we had.
Wow.
And it's just like, wow, like this is, and it's the start of, you know, like I said earlier, many more. And I'm like, this is really awesome. Like this is something that's almost indescribable. And every time like we do a trip, no matter if it's like some good parts and bad parts, the takeaway, and I don't always tell Danny this, but like for me, it's like the takeaway is always just like, damn, like it's really freaking nice to have this, to be able to do that. And so I don't know, it's surreal, and I think we can kind of all agree on that to some point. But the plan now, the hope plan, which like again keeping the expectations low because you don't want to disappoint yourself, is to get Danny back to the Philippines. That's kind of like the plan. Like that's the goal. Like that's what I want to do so bad.
Get Danny back to the Philippines 2020. Hashtag
Get her back to the
trending.
Philippines.
Get a GoFundMe page.
GoFundMe page.
Guys, ydb fans.
Let her go back, see her family. Let her bearing gifts to her family. Like let's do
needs
this.
this.
Honestly, we should do a GoFundMe. We should do a because like I don't know.
It's been 10 years, guys.
No,
Everybody
seriously.
asked about you too. Like all my cousins,
Wow.
they talk about him as if they know him already. Like
You guys have like a WhatsApp group? Like a little group?
Facebook
group? Nice.
or like sometimes on Instagram or video call or whatever. But yeah.
And then when the idea came up over this past holiday season, and when we were talking about it, because it was like a big topic, it was like the passing mentions of like, oh, well, what if I go with you, Danny? Because I don't want her to go alone, and so it's like, what if I go with you? Like this idea of like, what if we went? And then it's like, her mom was just kind of like more enthused about going suddenly, and it was just kind of like. It was like, why don't you go? Like, why don't you go as you guys? Why haven't you gone? So for me, it's just kind of like, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll be that spark that like kind of ignites the trip to go back or something.
So, yeah.
So it seems
Just
like
to
that.
share that.
To share that. Oh, like you should come to the Philippines, like experience our family, experience our culture, and it's just like, all right,
that's a beautiful
when
thing.
You experience our culture, even food.
Yeah, even food at home, and it's just like
and language.
Yeah. So that's kind of the goal. Let's get Danny to the Philippines 2020.
So, by the end of this year.
So I don't know. Maybe we will make a GoFundMe or something. That'd be funny. Honestly, you put the link in the Instagram bio in the YB. I know she hates every bit of this idea. I'm this close to gonna do it. The whole year, we're gonna keep it open the whole year. But yeah, man. I think we can kind of all agree on traveling. It's just at the end of the day, it's one of the most beautiful things you can do.
Go traveling this year.
Coming from a guy that hasn't done much of these things, we kind of like threw you into a den of wolves the first trip because it was in Maine and the most rigorous activity was
whitewater rafting.
Oh, yeah, I heard
and
that.
I don't know how to swim.
Oh yeah.
And
you have a life jacket though, right?
Yeah, but we went on the highest level of whitewater rafting.
Yeah,
do you guys know how to?
Yeah, he almost drowned me because
oh my gosh, why do you have to tell us?
We got out of the raft to go to this like huge water rock thing. I don't know.
Like the waterfall. It's like a small waterfall.
Yeah, small waterfall, and you could slide down
Wow.
with it. And I stopped the video, and I remember, obviously, you land in a pool or lake of water, I guess.
I didn't know that.
And you had a life vest, and he kept just pushing me down into the water. And I caught that on camera.
GoPro.
Post it on Instagram page?
Don't do it. No, people are gonna hate me. Because I'm not even gonna try and explain my way out of it.
Using me as a boat or something like that.
Because I don't know how to. I was really freaking out. I didn't know because I didn't expect. Whatever. I'm not gonna try and
It's okay,
explain
man.
myself.
She's your life raft.
Yeah,
man.
she is.
She got you.
And then
definitely
there
is.
was a guy, one of the workers who was like professional whitewater rafter or whatever, and he had like an extended pole so you could grab onto it if you were drowning, like Zeke. So I just literally grabbed his life vest and dragged him to the pole. I was like, go grab that! Like, don't use me!
Aw.
I still feel horrible to this day.
Hey, man. I saw the pictures from Maine and I was like, dude, that looks really nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I want to go
Yeah,
out there,
It's definitely
man.
not
That
fun.
looks
Bar
dope.
Harbor.
They have better seafood.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was a lot
sure.
cheaper to buy your own lobster and boil it at home. That was a lot of fun.
Maine lobster, man.
Yeah.
Do
I want a
seafood
lobster
boil
roll.
in Bar Harbor, Maine. That's the wave. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. That was good stuff. Good stuff as always.
Yeah, man.
Alrighty.